Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everybody. There you go. There's
some other person.
That's right. You got to get the response back. It's exactly right. Yes. Well, welcome everybody to the what we call the mixer for the Capital Region. We'll give you a little bit of introduction to the business plan competition, and I have a little slide presentation. There's always a slide presentation that goes with any of these things, as you would expect. But hopefully we'll get it over with as quickly as possible. First of all, I want to quickly introduce you to the business plan competition. We have a little bit of a video here. Hopefully it's going to show up and play well here.
More than 450 college student entrepreneurs from New York's 10 regional economic zones established as part of Governor Andrew Cuomo's mission for economic development are expected to attend the final round of the 5th annual New York Business Plan competition after successfully placing in their regional competitions. The students will be going head-to-head for the $100,000 grand prize out of more than $500,000 offered throughout the competition, made possible through support by title sponsors CEFCU and SUNY. The competitors hoping their ideas to meet an unmet need in areas like nanotechnology, healthcare, information technology, or clean energy could lead to the grand prize, $50,000 cash and $50,000 in in-kind services. To do so, they must successfully pitch their business plans to a panel of more than 40 judges, venture capitalists, angel investors, investment bankers, and seasoned entrepreneurs, and beat out over 100 other teams.
With the vision and the plans that the governor has put forth related to making New York State an entrepreneurial and high-tech state of the nation, this certainly meets the needs of what we're trying to accomplish.
Join us April 2014 to see some of the brightest minds bring their ideas to life at the 5th annual New York Business Plan competition.
Okay, so that was a nice quick introduction our marketing team made up for promoting, obviously, the business plan competition, and some of you have probably already been to the website and seen what we're trying to accomplish over here. I have a short presentation. Hopefully it's going to be short, but it does talk a little bit about a little bit more details about the competition so that you understand what we're trying to do. As was mentioned in the video, we're actually doing this. This is the 5th year in a row that we're actually doing the business plan competition. It originally started off as more a regional program here, and then very quickly expanded across the entire state. And this is, to our knowledge, one of the largest statewide competitions that's held in the nation here today, in terms of the prizes, in terms of the participants, in terms of the activities that we have lining up to the event. And you can see we have several institutions that have already signed up. Last year, I'll give you some more history. There's a little bit more in terms of universities and institutions that partnered with us last year to send students to this event. So just as a quick outline, hopefully I'll go through this quickly, as I said, give you some background about the competition, try and answer some questions at the end as well. And in between, talk a little bit about the historical aspects, give you some eligibility requirements, and what we're trying to do here today. This is actually the first time that we're doing what we call a mixer. This was an idea that came up with some of the discussions that we had when we had the institutions from, we had a teleconference with folks from Skidmore and Albany Law and a couple of other institutions, and there were some ideas floated around that said, well, let's get the students, at least in the region, to get together so that we can get them to maybe hear from one another, talk to each other, network, and see maybe they can participate as teams, multi-institutional teams as well. So that's one of the key objectives of what we're trying to do here. But I'll give you the reasons for some of the outlines for the competition as well that we're trying to do. So just as a quick background, as I mentioned, this is the 5th year in a row we're doing it. This actually started in 2010. And this is the only, as we know it, the only student-based competition. So if you're not a student, you're not eligible to participate in the competition, but you can be from any academic institution. You can be a part-time student. A part-time student is allowed, of course. Last year, we had over 55 colleges from all across New York State participating in this thing. And so far, we've had over, as was indicated, over 500 student teams from all across New York that's already been participating. So in the last 5 years that we've been doing this, we've given out over $800,000 in prize money to the teams that have actually participated, the winning teams that have actually participated in this event. Last year, the winning team was from Columbia University. They had a very strong presentation that impressed the judges. The year before that, we had somebody from Rochester Institute of Technology win, and before that, Syracuse University, and before that, I think our college here won one of those events too. I might be missing. That's the list, right? So the competition is pretty tough. I would recommend you also, as you're getting closer, you should also, on our website, we have winning presentations from some of the previous years. You can go in and take a look and hear the presentations there as well and get a sense of the competition and what's really needed to try and win one of these things, right? So in 2013 itself, I mean, we have grown exponentially, and I'll show you a chart that sort of describes that. Just last year itself, we gave out over $500,000 in prizes. We had 430 teams, and we had about 120 different judges actually that participated in this event. This is last year itself. And then you can see the growth that has occurred over time too. We started in 2010, where we had roughly about 12 teams participating. That was more of a regional event that we had at that time, and the very next year we made it a statewide event, and you can see the progression in prizes and teams in terms of how quickly that has grown. So we're anticipating that this year also we are going to have a lot more teams participate from a variety of different regions. Now, what we did differently last year, and what we're doing again the same this year, is we've broken it out now into semifinals and finals. Before the last 2 years, we just had a competition. It was a one-day event. People came in and we selected the best, and they were upgraded to the next round in the same day, and then they competed. But last year and this year, we separated it out so that we have now a semifinal, which is a regional event in the 10 different regions, the same economic development regions that Governor Cuomo had created for the economic development zones. And we have institutions, lead institutions and partner institutions from each region that co-host an event similar to what we're doing right now that leads to a regional, we call it the regional final or the semifinal for the state that goes into the final at the end of April. So that's what we're doing this year. Now, if you look at the 10 different regions, we have the capital region, and there's a map of it actually on our website, or if you can go to the Regional Economic Development Council website, you will see the different regions, the maps of the regions there as well. So we represent the capital region. There's a central New York region, a North Country region, Mohawk Valley, Finger Lakes, Western New York, Southern Tier, Mid-Hudson, New York City, and Long Island. All of these different regions have their own semifinals, and you have to be at a college or an institution from that region to actually participate. And you have to participate in the regional event to make it to the finals. You can't just apply for the finals and try and make it into the finals. The application due dates are different. Some are, I think our regional event is on April 3rd. Is it 3rd? Yeah. And that's going to be located here. The application due dates are very different for the different regions. Ours is in the March time period. The interesting thing is we're competing with some of these other regions that have very, very strong academic institutions and or entrepreneurial programs, and it makes it a lot of fun, of course, when you're getting up competing with those teams. There's 6 different tracks. I'll talk about the tracks in a second in terms of trust areas. There's nanotechnology, clean energy, healthcare. There's a nonprofit social track, and there's an IT track as well. And the winning 2 teams from each of the tracks are going to go to the finals and participate in the finals from each region. Okay, most of this information is available on our website. For the capital region competition, as I indicated, It's going to be held on Thursday, April 3rd, over here. Teams will be, it can be made up of students from 2 or more institutions. So, somebody from Albany Law can partner with the College of Nanoscale Science and Engineering, or the business school can partner with somebody from RPI, et cetera, et cetera. We absolutely encourage the cross-fertilization of ideas and teams and expertise from amongst the various different institutions, and that's the purpose of this initial meeting here, of course. I talked about the 2 winning teams going in from the Capital Region, going for the final round. The final round is a head-to-head competition for $100,000, $50,000 in cash and $50,000 in services and in kind from a lot of professional organizations that will help you to raise money and prepare your business plan, and or help you in the legal aspects of stuff, or whether it's intellectual property, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of resources that come behind this, and the whole idea for us is to create that culture of entrepreneurship across the region amongst the students, and to build a business. If you have the right idea, maybe you'll get it funded and build a business and move it to the next level. We want it to become real, a good experience for you as well. Okay, for the statewide competition, there's going to be a 10-minute pitch, and we're doing the same thing actually for the regional competition as well. There'll be a 10-minute pitch that we allow the teams to make in front of the judges, and we'll talk about that in a second. Eligibility requirements. I've said some of this before. You must be a currently enrolled graduate or undergraduate student in any of the accredited New York State colleges or universities, right? Part-time is fine. I also mentioned that we do require for you to have a faculty member or a staff member from your institution, or an institution that's participating in this, to be listed as an advisor of the team. And hopefully the intention there is to make sure that we get the teams honed in to really participate at the level of competition that we're expecting to see in this coming year. The level of competition has definitely increased from year to year, in addition to the participation that we talked about. Each student is not allowed to participate in more than 1 team each year for the competition. So if you belong to 1 team, you cannot be part of a second team, right? This is to be fair to others as well. There's other requirements as well. So if you are already part of a student-based company that's been established and has been running, and if you've raised over $100,000 already as part of the company, again, you're not eligible to participate. This is more for earlier stage and more for idea stage, and getting that transition into something that's commercially viable. The student ownership of the venture must be 100%. It can't be, the university owns 5% of the company, or a faculty member owns 20% of the company or 5% of the company. So it has to be a fully student-owned venture that we're trying to support here moving forward. It doesn't mean that, in a lot of cases, this is for established. Sometimes we do get competition from people that have established companies, but in the majority of cases, obviously, the companies are not formed yet. So this is for those. This is to restrict and not necessarily put the others at an unfair advantage, of course. So the 6 tracks that we talked about: biotech, healthcare, energy sustainability, IT, software, nanotech, advanced technology products and services, social entrepreneurship, and not-for-profit. Those are the 6 different categories that we had last year. We are going to continue that this year as well. Some of the presentation format will change depending on which region you are in, but the final presentations is a template that's actually provided on the website for folks to use as an example. The interesting thing is the judges, we try to keep bias out of the whole process. The judges that we bring in are not from any academic institution. We want to make sure that these judges are real judges. These are the actual investors or venture capitalists or angel investors. If they like the idea of the business, they might actually end up investing in that business or idea, and that's why we want to make sure that those are the guys we bring in as judges. And this is true for the finals. This is also true for the regionals. We are going to have judges that are are real investors. So you'll be actually in front, and they'll be asking some real tough questions of the students at that time. Okay. As I said, the template for the presentation is also available on the website, and what the judges use as a rubric is also available, and you can find out more over there. So this is, again, just getting to the end of the slide presentation here. This is the way we actually distributed the prizes. This is the dollar values that are actually distributed amongst the different teams and the different place finishes. What we also do is, this year, there's going to be a few more new categories that we're going to come up with. They're not going to be the high value dollar amounts, but we want to encourage participation from a variety of different levels. For example, one of our partner teams has indicated that maybe we could call out for the best undergraduate team, for example, that has the best presentation, and so we're going to give some prizes for those kind of categories that we haven't quite identified yet as well. But there's only one grand prize. I mean, and you saw the picture in the video of what the prizes look like. It's a major cup that you get, as well as the $50,000 in cash and $50,000 of in-kind services. So it's a pretty exciting. I mean, there's again, I don't know of any other competition that's only for students that's statewide that gives that kind of prize money out. And with that kind of money, you can really start your own business and are well on your way to doing what's necessary to become successful. Okay, so more information it's on the website that I keep talking about, NewYorkBusinessPlan.com or NYBPlan.com. If you Google NewYorkBusinessPlan.com, you'll find it. All inquiries can go to Nick. Nick, if you can maybe raise your hand. He's managing the whole process. He also runs our incubator here at the college. And the date for the Capital Region competition, as I mentioned before, is April 3rd on Thursday, and the final is on April 25th. So even if you don't make it through the Capital Region competition into the final, I would absolutely encourage you to come for the final to actually at least experience it and get a sense of the quality and the kinds of presentations that are being offered. It is an experience. It is definitely worth going through, especially for students who are interested in entrepreneurship and or interested in doing anything related to startup opportunities and stuff like that. I'll take a few very quick Q&As, and then we can maybe go around the room and try to introduce everybody and get a sense of what everybody's into. Yes, go ahead.
Do the students need to be matriculated or full-time, or can they just be a part-time student taking one course?
Yes, so the question was, can the student be a part-time, or do they have to be a full-time student? They can be a part-time student. That's allowed. One course, yeah, I know, but it's okay. It's okay. We allow that. Yes.
Can you clarify the capital investment eligibility point?
The capital eligibility point. The question is, can you clarify the capital eligibility point? So if there's a student-based team that has already established a company, and the company has already raised over $100,000 in investments, they are not eligible for this competition because they're well on their way to doing better than. So $50,000 prize from our standpoint is going to help them, but we want to really reserve that for people that are not quite on their way.
So companies coming out of a research lab that is private or publicly funded are eligible?
Companies coming out of a research lab are eligible. That is correct. So I think that's a good question there. I think in the past there were some issues. So when we talk about 100,000 being raised, there are some research groups, for example, that have raised millions of dollars worth of research money from NIH or from NSF, National Science Foundation, or some of these other institutions that they do research on. And then they take those ideas that are actually developed from those research programs, and then they build a company and try to commercialize a company. So the question here was, can you take those technologies and try to commercialize? Do they count, I guess, is sort of your question for the money that's been raised? And the answer is no, because, I mean, those are purely for research purposes. But if it was a company that was established for the purpose of raising that money, so if it was a company that was created to go after and get the grant money and they got the 100K grant money, then they would not be eligible. But if it's a research project that somebody else, a professor or somebody else has gotten and research is being done and the company is created solely for the basis of commercializing the technology, that's okay. Yes?
Is there a limit on the number of members in a team?
Is there a limit on the number of members on a team? I don't believe so. No, there is no limit on the number of members on a team. Good question. We've not had that problem before. Yes?
Are there any guidelines on how the prize money would be spent by the student team?
Yes. The prize money is given out to the teams, to the winning teams, based on the plan that they have presented to the judges. And we will sit down with the team and identify some key milestones that the team says that they will accomplish over the period of once they've given the award to when they're actually going to start their business. And the money is given based on them meeting specific milestones and objectives. But we'll sit down with the team and decide what that is. We're not doing that separately by ourselves. So this is not a cash award that a team can get and now they can all use the money and go for a trip to Hawaii or something like that. That's not the intention here. The intention is to use the money to make something useful, create the business, do something with it, take it to the next step. That's what we're trying to definitely encourage, right? Yes?
Student can be international student or should be a registered?
You have to be a student in New York State at one of the institutions in New York State. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it might. I have a question about residency. Like some students are international students. They are.
International students are allowed. As long as you are a student in one of the accredited New York State institutions, you're allowed, yes. Any other questions? Okay. So one last slide here. So what we want to do is, again, this is a networking event. We have a reception right after this, and I didn't want to keep you guys here for too long and just listen to me. But what we'd like to do is, again, get everybody to introduce yourself. Maybe mention your name, the affiliation, and your area of focus. If you have an idea, you don't have to have an idea. I mean, if you don't feel like talking about an idea, you don't need to. But if you have an idea that you think you want to just throw out there and you're looking for specific types of expertise, so maybe if you're a technical person and you don't know much about business, you want a business student to help you develop your plan, or if you want a law student to help you with a certain type of thought, or vice versa. If you are a business student and you're looking for technical thought, we'd like you to talk about that and you just very quickly mention what it is, and then maybe at the reception you can reach out to. We know who is who, and you can sort of reach out to who you want to talk to specifically at the reception. So we're going to start over here. I'm going to give the mic to